Well, hey, welcome back to another episode of WAP Wealth, Assets, and Prosperity for Your Life and Your Business. Now, I got to let y'all know I am so elated for this conversation. I know you probably like, Jackie, you always excited. No, this one right here got me mad juiced. So we are about to be having a conversation with my girl, Ebony Tutora. Didn't I just say I was gonna mess it up? Girl, I messed it up anyway. Tutora. She is a trauma specialist and master meditation guide behind the brand Queens. Recognize Queens, okay? Geared at cultivating deep connections for women to heal their past trauma so they can maximize their future and own their worth. Ebony teaches from pulling wisdom from her own experiences of trauma and now uses those experiences as testimonies to teach women and girls the same powerful tools she used to heal, to self heal, and empower herself. Her passion is in teaching holistic lifestyles, concentrating on the trifecta of modalities with the focus on inner child healing, mindset mastery, and meditation. Now, y'all know Ebony is my girl. She's talking all my languages. Ebony hosts live events, online courses, and one on one and in person group coaching. Ebony is an author, featured panelist, speaker, and workshop host. She has been featured in Medium, love Medium, Internet Traffic Magazine, The Good Quote, We Empower Magazine, Shout Out LA, Hey Mama Summit, and more, discussing topics such as healing, self-love, self-care, wellness, meditation, mindset mastery, and turning pain into peace. I know that's right. Ebony is on a mission to globally uplift 1 million women and girls by encouraging them to love themselves and one another, to heal, and to walk boldly and courageously into a lifelong goal of healing and becoming the very best version of themselves. So, without further ado, let's please welcome my girl Ebony. I am so excited to have you here, Queen.
Listen, I'm excited to be here. It's always interesting when you hear people read your bio. You're like, that's me. Oh, yes.
Did I do all those fabulous things? Was I really in media? Was that me? Yes, I love it. I love it. I love everything you do. We're going to go from the rooter to the tutor, right? As much as I'm like, let's talk about these million women and girls. I'm curious about that.
Yes.
So, I'm going to ask you. But first,
Yeah.
I just want to ask you, what got you into this space in the first place, right? Trauma specialist and master meditation guide. I mean, how do you even get there?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you know this, Jackie. Our story is created to craft who we be. And unless we see it that way, you can never mold yourself based on what you've been through. You fold, right? So, I mean, I grew up in a chaotic household. We talk about the people that go from 0 to 100. That was like all of my family, okay? And I've always just had this calmness and stillness that was just like embedded within me. It wasn't, I have my grandmother who was like amazing, a wise owl for sure. I had great grandparents, great mentors. But I grew up in trauma. I grew up seeing drug use. I grew up seeing drug sale. My mom's husband was addicted to heroin, crack cocaine. My father still to this day is addicted to crack cocaine, domestic violence, like all the things that are in a poverty stricken environment. That led me to, at the age of 15, dating a man that was 25. Right? No one could tell me I was looking for the daddy. I was like, you can't tell me nothing. I was a teen. I'm not looking for nothing. It's, all the things, which led to me being with him my entire high school career, being in domestic violence situations. So I would miss school because I had a black eye. I would have to wear glasses like this. After I graduated high school, I hesitantly moved with him to New York. And I just knew things would be so bad. I just already knew it because he was so controlling. All the things. He sold drugs. Big drug dealer. And I knew something was going to go so wrong, and it did. And he held me hostage, and he raped me. and I escaped. And in that moment, Jacqui, when I say this from the bottom of my soul, like that was the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life. That serves as the deepest anchor of like who I be. So when I show up in strength and I show up that I'm still here on this planet and I prayed my way to be here and I said, God, you can't take me out yet. You know, promises we make to God, like, if you get me out of this, I promise, right? That's why it's like 1 million girls and women, right? I promise I will be a testimony. I learned about signs. This was 2007, just graduating high school. Someone handed me the book, The Secret. So if you look at that movie, that's when it dropped. Someone handed me the book. I saw the documentary. So this shift in my mind, I started to see, oh, like I saw the signs not to go meet up with him. I heard the angels speak to me. I learned so much about everything in that moment in time. I learned my purpose. I found out that this man had raped 3 other women. One I knew about, and he lied about it and like gave me this whole story. And I was in high school at the time, and we weren't like on great terms at that time. I just didn't care. I'm like, I don't really care what you're telling me. I didn't really pay attention to it. And that's the moment that shifted my life. I said, I have to work with women. When I was told by the detective, because they thought I would back out, I had to testify against this man. And this is the thing about trauma, is that when you're in trauma, and I'm speaking to all my women that are in these traumatic environments and they don't really know. Do you know what I was going to do, Jacqui, after being raped and held hostage? I escaped. Do you know what I was going to do? I was going to change my clothes and move on about life.
Ain't that what women do? Ain't that what women do? We will be in pain. Go ahead.
And just keep on going. And this guy that I had met around that time, I just spoke to this random stranger. And this all happened in the same little bubble of like 1 to 2 months. I met this strange guy. He was like asking me something, and I don't know what the hell he said to me. I was working in Brooklyn, Atlantic Terminal at the time, Victoria's Secret, and I just started telling him all my business. I'm like, I'm in this relationship. It's super bad. I need to find an apartment to stay in, a room, something. And anyways, the same guy, within this period of like a month or so, I called him as well, because he was like helping me to get a place. And he's like, what do you mean you're like going to get your stuff? He's like, you need to stop right now. And he's like, you need to go tell the police. You need to file a report right effing now. Like a man telling me this. And that's what I did. I was in downtown Brooklyn. I walked up to a paddy wagon full of police officers. I had on glasses just like this that were Chanel, because I told you he was a drug dealer, right? I had high luxurious products, right? That's what kind of kept me there as a young, unknowing girl. Yeah. Took off my glasses and I go, listen, I was just raped. I had a big old black eye, and they all were like, talk about Law and Order SVU. That's not a show that I entertain, because I lived it.
Yes.
So, it just changed my life. It just really changed my life on so many levels. But I learned that even in our pain, you say, how do I become who I am? I learned that even in our pain, there are so many gems and so many breakthroughs and so much just goodness that is there. And I'm telling you right now, I leaned into it with everything in my body. They sent me to a psychologist, which I was open to. I had already had my foot in psychology because I took it in high school as a way to understand my own parents. I didn't know my parents had bipolar, and taking psychology in 10th grade helped me to see what was happening with them. That attached me to the psychological world and being in psychology, studying psychology. And then that experience just like really threw me off, and I wasn't no longer interested. However, all of that is the sum of who I be and why I show up and how I show up and the power at which I show up, because, we all have a story, and I don't, everybody's got bad things, and it's what we do with it. And I desire to be the beacon of that truth for everyone.
Obsessed. Like, first of all, thank you so much for sharing. I'm a very firm believer in your test is your testimony. And so when we're tested, a lot of people are like, let me keep it to myself. Like, I'm not a big fan of secretive people. Yeah, I'm just gonna have an honesty moment. I had a time this weekend with somebody secretive, and I was like, that is just not cute, because you don't know what somebody else can learn from your story. Yes. And you're so busy keeping it to yourself, holding it in, letting it fester and boil, that you just ain't really taking advantage of the beauty of your testimony. So I thank you for sharing your testimony. A. B, man, trauma is a mamma jamma. It's a mamma jamma. I gotta tell you, I literally started psychology because my baby daddy was bipolar, and I didn't know what was happening with his episodes. I was like, "What is going on? Why are you acting like this?" So I took psychology, deep understanding. So tell me more about the trauma piece. How do you help people through their trauma?
Yeah. So it's been multifold. I mean, in the coaching industry, they always say you teach your people the questions you asked yourself that helped you to navigate to get to a certain point. So I sat with that. It was one of my first, like, getting into business. One of the first courses I took said, well, what questions did you ask yourself? And I was like, what questions did I ask myself? First question I asked myself is, what is my story? Right? Because I understood that psychological piece, that there was a portion of my childhood that was showing up. So what's my story? What is the story I'm telling myself? What do I believe about life? What are my triggers, right? Knowing what our triggers are, how people trigger us, because it's never about them, it's about us. Yes. The next question is, why are you not where you want to be? Well, the whole, once you write that out, you're going to circle back to number 2 and 1. Right. Yeah. And then the last question is proactive. What are the next steps that you can take? Small, simple steps to get you to where you have to go. Right. We talked about the trauma. We worked through the past. Now let's go forward. So that's how that practice started. 2020, right? Pandemic hits. I'm still kind of teaching the same thing. My program at that time was called Returning to Your Throne. At the end of 2020, on my heart, there was just, I read The Anatomy of the Spirit, and I was like, I can take this and I can put this into a 7-day course, returning people back to the mind, body, spirit connection. So when they feel pain in their hips, when they feel like they're having too much headaches, when they're anything, your fingers are hurting, I had my face break out the other day. Like, it's an allergic reaction to everybody that's on earth. To the spirit world, I was like, where the F in your crown chakra, in your knowing, that's affecting your skin? Because the skin is the biggest organ, right? What am I pretending not to know? So when I ask myself and I go there, my hip is hurting and I'm like, ooh, girl, do you feel like you can't support yourself? And now that I can speak to the pain, I can make it dissipate. So then I created 7 days of clarity to show people, I want to be the beacon of light that says healing can be easy, healing can be quick. Stop with the bullshit of it takes forever, it's so long, and it's this. Why? Why? It's like, and this is how we break down the perception and things we learn, right? I think there's always a deeper layer that's like, but there's a truth. And as generations come along, we create a new prototype. We're like, y'all believe that, but I'm gonna go over here. Create something, right? Everything around us wouldn't exist. The computer to the phone, like, these things wouldn't exist if somebody didn't say, hey, there's another level to this, right? Yes. So I created the program. And again, when you create something and it's this like download you get, you never know how it's gonna, right?
Yes.
It's taught me so much. Teaching it over and over again, every single month, 7 days clarity, 7 days. I just repeated it. And I also wanted to teach myself as a coach, I can do one thing and I don't have to do all things, and I can still be successful and I can still be lucrative. And if I want to do additional things, I can, but I don't have to choose to do it the most. It was like a multifold thing.
Yes.
But after teaching that program for over 2 years, I was like, I began to see similarities in people. I began to see the same things we say all the time that sounds the same, how we step into our unknowingness. And again, how trauma lives in the body. And if we are aware, the trauma is always speaking to us. It's always giving us signs, symbols, like I always explain, like the operation game, right? Your chakras, it's the operation game that's like, bzz, bzz, bzz. And if you're paying attention, right, you know it. And most people feel like, well, I'm not really connected, but you are. Do you remember that time when you wanted to speak up and you didn't, and you got the knot in your throat? Do you remember when you went through heartbreak and your heart was physically hurting? So it's those areas teaching you, hey, like, I'm uncomfortable right now. I'm processing something old and familiar that's from my past, a belief that feels heavy, that I've been holding on to, that I held on to so tight that it created the situation I now see. So if I bring it back in, I am the remedy and I'm the solution. And that program is phenomenal. And I think a lot of us, we see all these courses and things that are out there, and it's like, this is not your typical course. You can be a beginner. I've worked with yogi people who are just epic in what they do. They were like, they're teaching me things too, but they showed up for the program and like humbled themselves, and just to see people go through it and just transform their lives, leave relationships, manifest new things. Like, and your point, right? That when we start making different choices, trauma can leave the body and things can speed up when me, healing is as simple as this. 7 days of clarity helped me to see it's so simple. Healing comes down to this. One thing. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. Energy never lies. If you're having a hard time forgiving someone, you're basically saying, I'd rather hold on to this. I'd rather fill my cup with being unforgiven than to pour this ish out, and forgive. And so I can fill it up with wealth, abundance, joy, pleasure, orgasms, all the things that I love and desire, because that's what my life is about. And I don't have to accept suffering as my way of being. And I'm not going to do it. That's how I see healing. It's like how people take long to heal because they're unwilling to let go of the memories, the people, the places, the things. And I saw something the other day that was like, and not so many short words. It was like, play with me, I will let all this shit go. Type of, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we have to be like that. And we have to be okay with the sting and the pain and the things that come with it, and know that those breakdowns are breakthroughs, and we just got to win it. So that's what I teach.
I love it all. Love it all. And so what I really heard you say, and I do apologize for the phone ringing. I thought I put it on do not disturb, but I guess I did just focus. Like, who does that? Anywho, I just want to say though, like, you're talking about being self-aware. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that is something people really struggle with, because even when I had a clearing money block session, right? I do clearing your money blocks with people. And I had a session with this lady, and I know she was harboring old resentment for somebody. And I have this whole thing where you got to go through and do a forgiveness thing. And she was holding on to it so tough, we couldn't even do the forgiveness. And I struggled with telling her, God, you're just not forgiving the person because you want to hold on to it so hard. What do you tell the people who are holding on to anger, resentment? Because there's a lot of them. We started the conversation with me telling you about my husband. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I gotta let it go. But like, I've really done a lot of work in forgiving him and being over it. He keeps coming in with his still pent up anger with me. How do you get people to let it go, the anger?
Yeah. When it comes to like was whomever's, was bins, was bays, was all the things. Yeah, I think essentially I look, again, portion of what I do is inner child healing. That's always been my top focus of like, what is Ebony talking about? I'll get into the inner child. Like, I see it working in all the things we do, the things people do, people coming to us trying to grab our attention. Is because, like children, when they don't have our attention and then we get on the phone, that's when they want to come. So husbands, bays, all that, it's the same thing, right? The minute they feel like we've lost their attention, they'll do stupid things, they'll like all the things that they can think of. It's because energetically they're feeling the pull away, and you just have to keep pulling away and ignore it and do your best to just like sew horsewhip blinders, evil eye protection on all the time, and just not give them the light of day. For the people just in general, what I have told clients that I'm on the phone with or clarity sessions, I'm like, listen, if that's working for you to hold on to that thing, and you do not want us to do the suggested thing that I am telling you, then let it keep working for you. As a coach, I am not here to convince you. I am not here to tell you how it looks like on the other side. If you desire to hold on to that, and that is working for you. Because I tell people, literally call that person and say, I forgive you.
Yes.
And then hang up. Like,
hang up, be done.
That's it, and I've had people, rarely, it's like the few bunch, right? And they're like, I'm just not doing it. They don't deserve it. And they're so caught up in the person opposed to themselves and how it's affecting them and afflicting them and causing energy. You're literally giving away your energy from something that happened in the past. But it's okay if that works for you and that makes you feel better about life. And if it works, that's what I say. If it works for you, then you do that. And I'll end the call, because I don't spend time with people who don't want to heal or change. And I don't hold space for that. If that works for you and that's the space you desire to be in, then this call is over. Like, have a good day. If you want to purchase a custom meditation or something else that can help you get there, then do that. But other than that, we're not going to spend any more time with me trying to show you what that other side looks like. And it's, to me, again, it's an energetic thing. Let it go. Let it go on your mind. Breathe it out when your partner's being their child self, trying to get your attention, so unhealed. You breathe it out. You see where you've allowed that energy to come in and what that energy represents, and choosing to no longer hold space for it and only meet them at this level. And if they don't come to this level, you still stay at that level. Because I've been there, Jackie, where I'm like, I've wanted to prove specifically, like with my ex, like, you're the one, like, everything they tell you is about them, right? They're bitter. They want to tell you you're bitter, but they're bitter, right? They want to tell you that you're this and you're that and you're this and you're any way that they can take you off course and distract you from the uncomfortable feelings that they feel that they have to sit with. Like, well, what did I do? And who was I that didn't like allow this thing to work? And that's cool. Like, I'm not here for people's projections or why or how they need to evolve. Like, I've let that portion go. And I think as healers, especially as women, sometimes we want to hold space. And when people say sorry and all these things, and it's like, energy is very simple. It does not lie. We are always redirected and re-guided to what's next and what's best. And if it makes us uncomfortable, we have to get used to that feeling and knowing that it's going to pass. Just like when someone dies, there's a small window where you're just like in this fog world where everything's just foggy and someone could be talking to you and it's like, but eventually, and it just changes your perspective, and then eventually it clears, right? And you're like, hopefully you begin to find solace and refuge and peace. And I believe everything's like that, with healing and, releasing energy. It's just keep it simple. Just keep it so simple.
I am loving all of this, and it's funny because this conversation, I was like, oh yeah, this is about prosperity. And let me just tie it in on how this is about you being prosperous. Your life has everything to do with you checking in. And I love what you said, Ebony, about checking in about what's going on within your body. And so I do want to talk a little bit more about that, because sometimes you'll have just like this random hip pain or random shoulder pain. I notice it more so around my cycle. I'll get random pains in random places where I'm like, why is my calf hurting? You know what I'm saying? Just random. But it is about being self-aware, because your body is constantly talking to you. And to me, healing your trauma is how you continue your prosperity. So when people are finding these, besides going to your fabulous, I never steer my finger the right thing. Besides going to your fabulous course, right? It's the 7-day. What website is that one on?
So 7 Days of Clarity it's not viewable for anyone. In the coming weeks, I'll have people coming on live with me to talk about their experience. I only want it to be a curated experience for people who want to join. I don't want people clicking on it and not completing the course. That's why I have a process where people have to get on the call with me. I will send them the link. It is on my website, but I've taken away the landing page. At some point I will just, like, once I have a certain number of enrollees that I know it's just going to be like a referral thing, and it's just going to be like coins on coins on coins. I do want it in the beginning, now that I have it, so that people can go through it for themselves. There's quizzes, you get a certificate when you finish. I wanted to create a very high level program where you can't skip and be like, let me just go to the heart chakra day. Nah, sis, go with the root it to the tutor, work your way from the bottom to the top. Don't try to skip no steps, because we are like that. We'll be like, well, I think I need sacral. Well, you don't know what you know until you know. So start with day 1. Go to day 7. So my goal is to get on conversations with people and really chat with them and see if they're a good fit for it. Because I can tell when people are not going to complete the program or just all the things. And I feel like it's a disservice to for them not to complete it. And I've been in communities where it wasn't a healing program, where it was created in a certain way and people actually did the freaking program, and I desire to have that same level of output. So the link that I share with you at heal.me, they can book a clarity session. And on YouTube, it will be a testimonial that I will post soon. I do have testimonials on my Instagram, on my YouTube that people have recorded for me. So I'm going to be flooding the airwaves with all the testimonies and breakthroughs and getting as many people to come back, because there's been hundreds. So I'm like been messaging them like, hey, can you do this for me? Can you go live with me? I'm like, we gotta go live. I need people to feel what this program has done. I have a guy, I'm gonna bring him on, and he's like almost 70.
Oh.
And is a man, so it's like to see people want to go deeper within themselves and like just change, like hearing them out their mouths becomes so different by the end of the course. And then a year later to see where they're at, like that progress for me is like everything. It's just everything. And it's proof that healing is easy and that it works and that it's simple and that we don't have to spend all this time and or money like going in circles. For what you do, like we need to get into our prosperity. We need to get into our high vibes. And the only, if I could say it 1,000 times way that we can get there is through the healing work we're willing to do and the things we're willing to let go. It's literally as simple as that, because it will keep us from our prosperity. And here's the thing, I want to bring prosperity back to everyone to understand that if I wake up and I feel rich in happiness, I feel rich in peace, I feel rich in just gratitude for the $2 that's in my bank account, okay? Like all the things, I've learned that the feeling, right? They always say in manifestation, it's the feeling, right? Yes. So if we can stay there, get there, stay there, right? Get there and stay there, stay in that lane, keep releasing. The riches will come. They will come fast. They will come divinely. You will literally create whatever you want. And I'm living proof of this. Walking away from a relationship in 2020, and I started manifesting, $3,000-$4,000 jobs for me to show up for an hour. 2 hours of my time, right? And I started up in the ante. Well, I want $10,000 for my hour, okay?
I know that's right.
But knowing that that's possible and that's true, and I don't have to live by any narrative, and to always keep questioning my beliefs, questioning what I'm holding on to, and knowing that as long as I feel those things first, I'm going to attract it because I am becoming the vibration of what I desire.
Ooh, yes, queen. Okay, we are here with Ebony. Oh my gosh, I love this. Oh wow, Vasques to prosperity. We are on Brownstone Worldwide, KCCR Radio. If you want to link up with my girl, it is with Queens, Recognized Queens. I mean, she just dropped a whole lot. Book a clarity call with her at Heal Me. And you can even check out some testimonials on her YouTube, baby. Okay, go check it out. And she has meditations on there. So that's a great segue. Let's go on, slide on over here to the meditation side. And let me ask you some questions, because I love meditation. How heavily is meditation? I love the birds in the background. Now, you know that's right. Yes. The angels are approving this message.
Yes.
So I'm curious, how often are you using meditation in your practice, and what would you say meditation is good for when it comes to everything that you do with trauma?
Yeah, I gotta take my glasses off for this one. So it's every day, it's all the time, right? People have to understand this. Again, everyone makes everything complicated. Everything. Like the more that I've done this program, I'm telling you, I see it, I feel it in people. It's opened my energy up in such miraculous ways that I've always read people like books. Like I can read minds. I can see what people are thinking. I can see things about them they'll never tell anyone. I just have that depth, so much depth that I can just see. And, I told you about that experience, like the 19-year-old Ebony. So that really busted me wide open, like from my intuition perspective and like spirits and things. But meditation, if I can simplify it for everyone, why you should be doing it, stop counting yourself out. Your own self-sabotage is killing your ability to just find peace. It is your practice. It is your practice of listening to yourself. And always, because first what's going to come is the bullshit you tell yourself. And that's going to be really challenging to sit with. It's going to be challenging to sit with the monkey mind, all the things you're thinking, that your body wants to move. You're like, I could be washing dishes. I could be going over here. Am I sitting right? Is this music right? Do I like this? Like all those things, right?
Yep.
And then after you sit with it, eventually you get to your higher mind, and there are discoveries that are there. There are things that are waiting to tell you more about your own experience, what you're created to do, the downloads, like all the things, right? So that's what I desire to share with people, is that it is your practice of listening to yourself. So if you don't want to do it, what you're saying is, I do not desire to listen to myself. I don't desire to know myself. I don't desire to get into the inner, like there's threads out right now, right? I'm not willing to go into my own inner threads and unweave the chaos and unweave all the things so that I am clear and I'm a vessel and I'm a channel. always, no matter what I experience, I can return to a center of peace and knowing and strength and courage and high vibrations because I am literally that powerful.
Ooh, that is beautiful. So I'm like loving this because I'm a very big Esther Hicks listener, and so she talks about that is when you're at your most, where you're at your least resistant. You're not having resistant thoughts. You're no longer resistant. And so I want to ask, like, because like help people, because I know a lot of people, and I'm the same way. I'm gonna be honest, Ebony. I love meditation, but is it every day? I have been working so hard to do every day, but my mind be doing that stuff that I need to be washing dishes. Oh, girl, I'm supposed to be posting something. Ah, what time is it? Oh, did I log on? Oh my God, did I log on? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm being serious right now. I gotta do that actually. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it is so easy to happen to you like that, where you have so many thoughts going on in your mind. What would you tell somebody who has all these thoughts going on in their mind, how to quiet them so they can meditate?
You just haven't met me. That's all I know.
Oh, shucks. Yes.
Yeah, I am so gifted in that. It's one of my greatest gifts that I'm so thankful for, and how most people come to me and they trust me as a guide and a lead is that, there's a series of combinations that we need to meditate effectively. You have to resonate with the voice. The sounds have to be in alignment. And for the practice that I've created, it starts with getting the body to come down, because when you're thinking all those thoughts, you're in the crown in the wrong way. You're in the overthinking crown. The crown that's the unbalanced crown chakra. The balanced crown chakra is, I know it's fine. I'm late. It's okay. I didn't sign in. Don't care. This is my time, my space for me to listen to me right now, to give to me before I give to the world and put my spirit out in the world, right? God say be in the world, but not of the world. And it wasn't the way people want to make it. It's literally that part of be in the world, but don't be of it, because you need you. Right? So it's like and I say that in all like humbleness and the biggest ego ever, which is like, I can help anyone meditate. And I'm grateful for that, because if I can get your body to step out of trauma and to calm down within 10 minutes or less, now I can be suggestive to you. Now I can infuse affirmations and put on certain sounds and tones that are going to make you feel so relaxed, like you're floating. It's going to be something you've never felt before. Some people cry. And it's like, once you've been there, it's like good sex, right? Once you've been there, you're like, I want to go back there again. I want to do that again. And you're more incentivized to do it again. But now we're having meditation experiences that are like, we're trying so hard to sit there. And it literally comes down to that. The voices don't align. I've been there. The sounds be freaking you out, where it's like, I've had people make me binaural beats, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell they created, but it's not, I'm not vibing with it, So like, it all has to be right. It all has to be right. It all has to be aligned. And, essentially, as we hear chaos, it has to be, this is so perfect, because that's the world. That's our mind right there. All of that stuff, right? We have to be willing to say, you don't exist. I'm not going to magnify you. I'm not going to focus on you. I don't care what needs to be done for me. And I see a bunny right now. It's everything within me that needs me to go in, right? They would say, go within so you don't have to seek without. None of this shit matters out here. If I'm in here in turmoil and like, that rush, do, all of that, we have to move away from that, because our evolution depends on it. So this whole thing of like, I can't meditate, it's hard. It's like, no, you need to love yourself enough to sit there long enough. Love yourself enough to keep searching for someone who gets you there, just like we would with a partner. We're not gonna lay in bed with, if it ain't right. You talk about WAP, you better make this tangle, okay? Okay, we're not about to just lay there and keep crying. We done tried every position, and we still trying, honey. Still trying. Bring it back. I need a new one. No. Okay. So, really being just like everything, right? You got to find what fits. You got to find what works. And I think we discount things. There's a lot of things that from perception, we think of Buddhas and monks, and we have all these perceptions. And Christianity, they're like, it's the devil. People don't know what chakras. There's all these things working through our minds. We're just trying to meditate. They were like, am I summoning demons right now? And it's like, again, going back to my previous thing, tell yourself in a mantra form, this is my practice of listening to myself. So until I have mastered this, I will not stop until I get to that point. And I'm honored, honestly, Jacqui, I'm so honored to be that person that can get people there.
I love that.
Right now, tomorrow, like not even tomorrow, like yesterday. I mean, like I will get you there. That way you can sift through your healing. You can begin to tap into your intuition. You can value peace over, keeping up the pace in the race. You value when things go wrong. You value just slow progression and the things we get to witness in the moments of peace and the bliss and the clarity. So that's my take on that.
I love it all. Like, again, go check out Ebony on YouTube. Get her meditations. She said she can get you there. Or you can roll ahead and book a call with her. Let's go on, book a call with Ebony. Boy, I tell you. Because let's just keep it 1,000. Your prosperity is being held up by your trauma.
Yes.
Your prosperity is sitting there waiting on you to get healed and feel good. And you too busy over here trying to hold on to who you're mad at.
Yeah.
It's time to heal the trauma so you can step into the prosperous, amazing, phenomenal, wealthy, with your assets self into your future.
Yes.
So I love it all. And then follow Ebony. Y'all go ahead and follow Ebony on Queens Recognize Queens. Let's just keep it 1,000. You are a phenomenal being. Like, you are absolutely magical. And Ebony, I have to have you back on here.
Let's do it.
We ain't done talking. We are not done talking yet. I gotta have you back. And I also want to, I'm just gonna put this out here. I want to get you in my group because I need you there.
Yes.
Get in here, talk to these ladies. Maybe we can do a live together or something. But again, it has everything to do with the fact that you are beautifully magical. I appreciate you stepping in your life. And this 1 million women, hey, Queens Recognize Queens. So I want to help you get to the 1 million.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. That's what it's about. I do want to say this last thing. I do meet women. I meet women, all my friends are rich friends. Like, they could buy the bags, they could buy the shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a lot of rich friends. Okay. And what I've learned in that as well is that we really have to change the way we look at prosperity, because you can have the world and lose your soul and there's nothing there, right? So it's really seeking that deeper prosperity. And we get to have all the things, we get to have all the things. And it's learning not to pick one over the other. It's learning what have you glamorized, what have you prioritized, because it's a belief system that someone gave you through programming, opposed to you saying, like, I like Aldo bags. I'll buy an Aldo bag. I can show you a bag I just bought the other day that looks like a Louis Vuitton bag, and it's not, and I don't care. Like, I just legit don't care. And I'll still walk up into a nice store. Like, I'll still do all the things, because at the end of the day, it's my perception, it's my life. I get to live it however I want. If I want to buy nice things, I get to pick and choose how I flow and how I be on this planet. And I don't have to live under anyone's idea of what prosperity looks like. And a lot of it's whitewash anyways, but we won't go there. So at the end of the day, it's really recrafting what prosperity is. And again, if I can really hit home meditation in the practice of listening to yourself is so rich and it's so giving. We talk about things that give, like that's a seed that you plant that brings wisdom, that brings intuition, that brings inklings, that brings prosperity, like everything you want. And peace. When someone cannot disturb your peace, you could be living in can I curse?
Go ahead. Yes.
You could be living in a fucking cardboard box. You could be living in a cardboard box. But that level of peace that you have will be so unfuckwithable. Right? That you can see the vision of where you're going to go. You're not lost in the web and the entanglement and the threads of your life and the happenings. Your prosperity is so focused on, I'm so peaceful right now that I can see a clear path. When you're not peaceful, you cannot see a clear path, which is why the program is called 7 Days of Clarity.
Yes.
Because if we can operate in clarity, I don't need to teach people spiritual gifts. Everyone has them already. They just don't know how they're creating too much junk on the road to it. too much things, too much thoughts that are putting our own roadblocks on itself. And we are the masters and weavers of our own destiny. So why not take back your power with 7 days of clarity? So you're getting every single chakra. At the end of every chakra, every day we're doing a meditation for that chakra. Root chakra, we're doing the inner child. Solar plexus, we're getting into creativity, sexuality, healing your ability to create and to remove shame and guilt. Right. And then it just works its way up. So by the time you finish energetically, we have like fine-tuned and, chiropractic your spirit.
I was about to say, it sounds like a chiropractor.
Okay,
Yes.
Right? You come back to yourself. You come back to your knowing. Now you have clarity. And from clarity, all things flow. From peace, all things flow. Without peace, there is no power. It's just a facade. It's just a mask. It's just something we hold in front of us to say, I am this person, but we really don't believe it. And that to me is detrimental. I've been there. I've had the masks that said I'm powerful and this and that and this and that, but I had no peace.
Come on.
So get your meditation on. And I hope this has inspired people to meditate starting today.
Ooh, starting today. We going to be on Ebony's YouTube. I don't know about y'all, but I know I will be. I'm flying right over there. Because I look for great ways to practice meditation daily, and guided meditation is some of the best meditation that I've ever experienced. It really helps me. Talk to me. Let me know to hush mine. You tell my mind to I'm so focused on what you're saying and tell me what you're doing. I don't even know what I'm thinking. That's where I'm peaceful at. With my crown chakra. Like I'm starting to feel like I know these chakra things.
You do already.
Good.
You do. Yeah.
I just adore you. Thank you so much for being here. Again, y'all, we're going to go over to her YouTube. Book a call with my girl. Book a call with my girl. I promise you, you will not regret it. Follow her on all things Queens Recognize Queens, baby. Mm-hmm. And you can head over to her other website, queensrecognizequeens.com. Man, you are a wealth of knowledge, a beautiful being. I just so y'all know real quick, I met Ebony on Clubhouse. She has been nothing but magical every time we even cross paths. So I can't wait till I meet you in person. I'm gonna give you a good squeeze.
Yes, fairy dust.
Okay, good squeeze here, boo. So I just want to thank you. And again, I love you, boo. Love you so much. So I'm gonna bring you down real quick. Thank you for Thank you for joining us here on WAP. We love y'all. And hey, follow my girl. Remember, Coach Jacqui got your back.
Yes.